What is going on, guys? GregglesTV on my community page. I asked you guys to do an Ask Me Anything Galaxy S20 edition, and you guys gave me a bunch of questions, so let's jump into these questions. First question comes from Jason Young, who says, S20 Ultra price in Malaysia, is it a Snapdragon for Asia? So as for the prices, I'm not exactly sure what Malaysia's price is gonna be, but it should be relatively the same across the board. So here in America, you're most likely looking at, $900 to $1,000, all the way up to about $1,500, depending upon which phone you get, which storage amount as well. So it should be in that, hey, that's American dollars, so you can figure that out. As for if you guys are getting the Snapdragon or the Exynos version of the phone, I know you guys aren't Korea, but Korea is getting the Snapdragon version. China should be getting the Snapdragon version. I don't know what Malaysia's getting, so I would guess you guys are probably getting the Exynos if you've got it in the past. Some countries still will be getting the Exynos, like Europe will be. But as for what specific Malaysia's gonna get, I'm not sure. Christopher Sullivan says, is that seriously the color lineup? Looks like a skin will cover that nicely. A poor choice of colors in my opinion. So the colors for the S20, you're looking at like a pink, a blue, a matte gray, a matte black. Not very adventurous compared to something that you might have gotten with like the Note line or the S10 line. This is dirty, but they get some really like almost metallic, pretty looking colors with last year's generation. These ones are a little bit more safe. So yeah, these are looking like the colors that will be released for the phone. Tori Arnold, will there be a 4G version of the Galaxy S20 Plus? So to answer your question, yes and no. So if you're in America, it looks like we're only gonna get the 5G version of the phone, which is not the end of the world, because if you get the 5G version of the phone, you can still do LTE on. They don't have to, be relegated to having to use 5G. So don't worry about that part. In the rest of the world, there will be 4G versions of the phone, especially countries that don't have 5G. So you could always import one of those phones. But again, it's kind of yes and no to your answer. Jacob De La Cruz asks, 120 Hertz 4K display, question mark? So for the Galaxy S line of phones, you'll be able to do 120 Hertz, but the max resolution is gonna be 1080p plus, not even 2K plus, definitely not 4K. There's no 4K on any of these phones in terms of you being able to output that to the screen. The highest resolution is 2K, and the fastest Hertz rate is 120 at 1080p plus. If you want to do 2K, it's going to be limited to 60 Hertz. Howard Osborne asks, is the front camera going to be smaller than the Note 10? How good will it be in taking selfies? And 2, will there be an SD card slot if the Ultra has 1 terabyte? So depending upon which S20 you choose, the Ultra is going to have a 40 megapixel wide front camera that can record up to 4K 60 frames per second video. The S20 Plus and S20 will have a 10 megapixel front camera up to 4K 60 video. As for will it be able to take really good selfie photos, I would assume so, since they are upgraded cameras versus last year. And your other question, will there be an SD card slot on the phone? And there is on all 3 versions of the S20, have it be the Ultra, the Plus line, or the regular one. Albert Ramos Jr., what features do you think Samsung won't include in this phone that they are saving for the Note 20? This is a great question. I think a major one that they're gonna hold back is, I think that when the Note 20 comes out, I think they're gonna have 2K at 120 Hertz. Right now it's 1080p plus at 120 Hertz. I think when the Note 20 comes out, they'll do it at 120 Hertz, 2K resolution. Mr. D's product review channel. Do you think that Samsung might add the ability to record from both front and rear cameras from within the standard camera app or any of their future phones? I don't think they're adding it in this iteration of phones. Is it something they might add? I can totally see them adding that. So I just don't think it's, yes, I think they will add it, and I don't think it's that big a deal if they do. It'd be cool if they do, but I mean, how many people would actually use that? Stacy Gabel, will AT&T have buy one, get one free at launch? I would pretty much put my money on AT&T, Verizon, and probably T-Mobile all having, maybe even Sprint as well, having a buy one, get one free for the S20 line of phones. They seem to always do this. Every single Galaxy line that comes down the pipeline, they always have a buy one, get one free. So I'd put my money on yes. Black Cup says, will S20 have Prism White? No, it doesn't look like they will unless they do it later on after the fact. So I'd say no. Mr. D's product review channel, do you think that there will be any size limit or time limit for recording no matter which setting is chosen for any of the S20 models? I don't even remember there being a setting on the note line if there's like I think you're talking about 4K setting, like you can only do it for like 10 minutes or something. I don't even think there's a setting. If it is, then maybe it just shuts off after 10 minutes. If there is, if it's still 10 minutes on that phone, which I don't remember, I would probably say yes, they stick to that. Yeah. Vishal Raporal, is every S20 going to be 5G worldwide? No, it won't, at least from what we've been hearing. It sounds like countries that don't have 5G developed will get the LTE version, and then everywhere else, if they have any kind of 5G, will get the 5G version. Joe Mama asks, why doesn't the S20 lineup have 256 gigabytes like the Note 10 did? It's a really good question. I don't know why they're not really going. That's like that 256 I think is a complete sweet spot, but I think they're going after, like, with the S line, maybe most people just want 128 and they want to keep the cost low. And then for anybody else that wants more than that, they can get 512. So I think it's kind of a good thing that they're doing it like this. Whereas if they put 256, the price would have to be higher than the base cost. So I don't think it's that bad. They'll definitely at least have that in the Note line. I think the Note line will start off at 256 and work its way up. What's up, 44566? Golden says, will the 512 gigabyte of the S20 Ultra come in ceramic black and gray like the S10 Plus 512 did last year? Thank you. To answer your question, no, it doesn't look like any of the S20 line of phones will come in ceramic at all. Chromium asks, do you feel like the Samsung has hit the point of diminishing returns now with the Ultra having almost every single dream spec? How are they going to better it with the S21 next year, aside from the obviously newer Snapdragon 875? You're totally right. Like, what are we getting at this point? Slightly better performance, slightly better cameras, slightly this, slightly that. I think everything's a slight improvement. I think where we're going to see leaps and bounds is the foldable technology, meaning that you're going to be able to get, for instance, the Galaxy Fold 2 is supposed to have an 8-inch display from the rumors we've been hearing, but you can fold it and it'll be small. So I think that's going to be the next big takeoff, is like big screen, really big screen phones that are almost like tablets that you can fold in half and fit it in your pocket. So I think that's going to be the next big thing. Boy Forever says, what is the difference between Exynos and Snapdragon? The big difference is Exynos is created by Samsung, Snapdragon is created by Qualcomm, so two separate companies. Also, the Snapdragon over the last few years has outperformed the Exynos almost pretty well, like in a pretty good margin at this point. So you would want, performance-wise, the Snapdragon, but basically they do the same things in terms of being able to do whatever you want on your phone. Sainad Satya says, do you think that the Exynos 990 processor can compete with the current Snapdragon 865 in all aspects? Probably not, and I kind of already answered this, but I mean, day-to-day tasks going to be completely fine with what you do. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think a lot of it might have 5 to 10 more frame rate on a game, but I mean, like, day-to-day usage, most people won't even notice. Eltad, when are we gonna see a live look of the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra? Well, it's officially gonna be launched on February 11th, but over the next few days from the point of this video, I would assume you're gonna see more and more hands-on stuff of it. Katz Kasem says, how many gigabytes will the S20 Ultra have, and will it have an SD card slot? So the Ultra version will come in 128 gigabyte and 512 gigabytes, you can choose. And yes, it will have SD card support. And the last question comes from Viru Maniam saying, S20 Ultra have a curved edge. From the rumors we've been hearing, the S20 they'll all have curved displays, but less than what we've got with the S10 and so on and so forth line of phones. And the S20 Ultra will be the most curved out of all the S20s, but again, not as curved as previous generations. Guys, thanks for those questions. Tell me if you like this more direct type, ask me anything rather than you just asking me anything. I was thinking about doing a Galaxy Bud Plus one next. Let me know if you'd be interested in that one. I know you guys dropped me some Galaxy Bud questions in this one, and I didn't answer them because it didn't fit with the line of the S20, but yeah, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. See you down the road. Peace.